Peace, peace, peace. Just wanted to share this video because I've had some stress headaches the last few days, and I've been trying to figure out where the stress is coming from. And as I was out here trying to get some air and just kind of clear my thoughts, these three Moors walked past me and greeted me in the way Moors greet each other. They could have said, "What up, brother?" or just a head nod, or whatever other many ways we greet our people. But when they greeted me like this, I can't tell you how good that made me feel. And I started thinking about all the times I walk around town with my fez on or my turban, and people go out of their way to, run out of a place of business and scream at me across the street, "Peace, Moor! Islam, Moor!" Something of that nature. And the feeling is indescribable, because what I'm thinking is, wow, not only do these people know who they are, but they also know who I am. And in having these chain of thoughts after these three Moors pass me while I'm outside, just clearing my mind, it occurred to me why I'm so stressed. And the reason why I've been so stressed, particularly the last few days, is I see all the outrage on social media. I see everyone just completely frustrated and saddened and pissed off. And everyone's like, so what are we gonna do? Like, what are we gonna do? We need to come together. We need to do this. We need to do that. What are we gonna do? And it's the same reaction every time one of our people are senselessly murdered by these policy enforcers, or the video with the woman in Manhattan walking the dog, calling the police on, one of our people, with no regard to how that may turn out for the health of that man. The anger and the frustration that we're feeling is not new. It comes along once every couple of news cycles, And my frustration comes because every time it happens, I look online and it's the same reactions. It's the same, we're not going to take this no more. What are we going to do? We need to protect ourselves. We need to come together. Sometimes it results in a march or a protest. Sometimes it results in some sort of riot, burning down of some buildings and breaking glasses and ultimately stealing TVs, because of course that has something to do with justice. But maybe on a subconscious level it does. Maybe it's like, they don't give us any justice, so I'm going to take what I can, and this TV is the closest thing to me. I don't know. But maybe that's what it is on some sort of subconscious level. But as I look at these postings and these stories and people just pissed off all day, it occurs to me that many of you don't know who you are. Many of you still believe that you're Black, African American, Caribbean American, West Indian, American Indian, whatever you identify with, whatever brand name they've given you that you chose to take and run with. That's what makes me sad, because what you don't realize is that those brand names that you're identifying with actually create your status. And in law, status is everything. There's a term in law called civil liter mortuus. It's Latin. It means dead in the eyes of the law, or dead at law. And what you don't realize is that by taking on these brand names and denationalizing yourself from who you really are, that in the eyes of the law, you become property. You become a liability, something that is someone else's responsibility. You're no longer considered human. You're no longer considered a part of the human family, the family of nations, which is why they can kill us on TV, on camera, and it's been happening forever, and there's no repercussions. The fact that our people feel a sigh of relief just because these policy enforcers get fired is the most ridiculous house Negro shit I've ever seen in my life. And I'm sorry to say, and I love you, but many of you are house Negroes. And you're offended right now. How dare this man call me a house Negro? I have dreadlocks, or I fucking come from the islands and I know my culture. No. A house Negro is someone who refuses to fight, who refuses to leave their comfy position, their seat at the table, the good scraps, the good clothes, the comforts of life that you currently have, because running and having true freedom is too much of a burden. That's why the field Negroes look at you with disgust, because you'll rather tell the field Negro to just chill out, pray to Jesus, do whatever the hell you tell him to do, so that you don't lose your cushy position. That's what makes you a house Negro. You're really not willing to fight. You're not willing to stand up to your oppressor. You're too busy trying to get a seat at the table. You're too busy trying to secure the bag. You're too busy trying to keep things the way they are so that when your children come into the world, they have a nice cushy position. That's what makes you a house Negro. And I'm sorry if you're offended by that, but you have the power to change that. If I have spinach in my teeth, and you tell me I have spinach in my teeth, should I be offended at you? Or should I be happy that you alerted me to the fact that I'm walking around with fucking spinach in my teeth? We need to take a good, deep look at ourselves and ask ourselves, what the hell is really going on? Why are we being treated the way we are in society, at law, in the penal system, in the courts? And the reason is you're chattel property. You don't have any rights because of your legal status. Your status determines your capacities and your incapacities at law, what you're capable of doing and what you're incapable of doing. We've been taught connotative linguistics most of our lives in these quote-unquote schools that are designed to indoctrinate us, but they're really creating slaves. Many of us don't know the true meaning of the majority of the words we use every day. We don't realize how these words place us in a certain status. So if you want true change, the very first step before you go buy a firearm, before you go get a vest, before you start a neighborhood watch or you start trying to police your own neighborhoods, none of that matters when you're black. Black people have no status. You're dead in the eyes of the law. You're not black. You never have been. You're a Moor. This is your ancestral estate. You weren't brought here on a boat from a continent that they now call Africa. Do you know that that's a Greek word? That's a contemporary word? It's not even an ancient word? The first thing we need to do is start educating ourselves. Get yourself a good law dictionary. Get yourself a good American English dictionary, preferably the older the better. Get yourself a good etymology dictionary. Start researching the words you use every day, and you're going to start to see that there's a trick happening. You're not black. You're a Moor. Change your status and you will see everything else change.